Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Jeffrey Lazarus, and welcome to Multiplayer Mondays on the Gaming Vector. This is a show where every Monday I'm going to play a random multiplayer game with most likely random opponents or other players, and as you can see today, we're going to be playing Magic 2014. So before we jump into the match, I'm going to go ahead and show you which deck I'm using. I'm actually using the Mind Maze deck. And as you can see, low creature size, but high card synergy, high deck speed. Not a whole lot of flexibility, though. And we are going to jump into multiplayer. And I'm just going to do a player match, quick match, and we're going to be doing a free-for-all. And we'll see how this goes. Hopefully, this will not take too awful long. Now, I'm not going to be explaining all of the nuances of Magic the Gathering throughout this video, but I will try and talk a little bit about my strategy and what I'm doing as we go through. So let's go ahead and jump into free-for-all here. And so far we have... Well, I was kicked from the game. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and try and join another game, and hopefully, if this goes quickly, we won't have to make a cut here. If this does not go quickly, then I will be back with you once we've found a match. Well, as you can see, we found a match there actually pretty quickly, so looks like we're going to be doing a little one-on-one with this guy. This will be interesting to see, because this is actually my first multiplayer match of Magic the Gathering on the Xbox on any of the iterations of the game. And I do own all of the iterations of the game. So we start out with 5 land cards. Not really liking that. Let's get a different hand here. 5 land cards, Phantasmal Bear, Veiled Sentry. Not the best starting hand, but I'd rather have 7 cards than 6, so let's go ahead and get started. We'll go ahead and get our bear out here on the first turn. So it looks like he's playing some kind of green deck. We'll need to figure out which one very, very quickly if we want to survive this. Here we are. Okay, Lord of the Unreal. That'll give our Phantasmal Bear a boost and also make it hex-proof. So now it'll be a lot harder to kill that, and we're going to go ahead and get our first few points of damage in here. Now, the nice thing about him playing a green deck is I don't know that he has a whole lot of ways to directly damage us. He's going to be relying on getting out big creatures to do as much damage as possible later on in the match. What that most likely means is that if we can dole out a lot of damage really quickly, we might be able to end this almost immediately. Now, I would like to throw that out, but I'd rather kick it so that it can have 2+1/+1s and be unblockable. So for now, we're going to throw out Veiled Sentry, and this will hopefully keep him from wanting to throw out anything too large. And then we're going to go ahead and continue, and we will attack again with the bear. We're not going to attack with Lord of the Unreal. I want to keep him alive just to keep that hex-proof going, because that is very, very important to me. Because most of the cards in this deck, as you'll see if I can actually look at the bear, gets sacrificed if it becomes a target of any spell or ability. So there, now we have a 4/4 because he played that 2/2 creature. Now we've got some damage on our side. Oh, and we grabbed a Phantasmal Image card, so we can play that. Now we still can't kick this because we need one more land out. We can do that next turn. However, what I will do with Phantasmal Image is copy my Lord of the Unreal and then continue. This looks like it could end up being a very, very short match, which I'm a little surprised about. So we're going to go ahead and attack with both of these. That's going to be 9 damage unless he comes up with some way to mitigate. Well, I take that back. He could block with his 2/2. Although, it actually may have been in his best interest to do that, because now he's at 5 health and we're only, what, 4 turns into the match at this point? Unless he can pull out something really big right now, which with only 3 lands, that may be impossible. I don't think that he really has a whole lot of a chance here. Now, that's the danger of playing a green deck. If you don't have things that can help your survivability early on, then Oh, see here, now he's getting out a whole bunch of lands. Thanks to that Farhaven Elf, that will give him a boost to lands, and then his other creature allows him to gain health on landfall, so now you can see he's back up to 9 health. However, I still think we can outdamage him. Oh, and I got another Aether Figment. Well, don't expect this to last too much longer. Because now I have a 5/5 unblockable. Yeah, this is pretty much over. Sadly, I was hoping to have a better match than this for first episode of Multiplayer Mondays, but, you know, when you take a deck with small creatures and a lot of synergy against a deck with large creatures, then it's really kind of hard to combat that, honestly. Especially if I start getting out creatures early like I did. Like, there's not a whole lot he could really have done. Now, granted, the match isn't over yet. He's still got 7 health. He's got 6 lands. And he's got some really dangerous stuff in his deck. So if he can manage to stay alive and mitigate the damage I'm throwing at him, then he could conceivably make a comeback here. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying I don't really see it happening. Oh, what did we just draw? Aetherplasm. That is a good card if you have something in your hand that you want to get out there. But for now, I'm just going to throw another Aether Figment, kick that. Now we have 2 5/5 unblockables. And let's see here. We can get 4 damage there. We can get 5 there. So that's 9. That's enough to kill him. We do another 5. He can't block that one. So the best he can do is block the 5/5. We still get 9 damage through. Yeah, this match should be over unless he has, something to mitigate the damage. Now, that is why a green deck can be dangerous early in the game. Not necessarily dangerous, but that's what he needs to be able to do to survive, is throw out those cards, because now, you'll see, none of that does any damage. Half my creatures are tapped, which I'm not too worried about half of them being tapped, because I still have, another 3 creatures out there, and all he's got is the 1. And there you can see he's getting some more health back. So now, we may actually have a game on our hands. Oh, and all is dust. Wipes the board and takes away my whole advantage in one fell swoop. That was a good play. That was a really good play. Now, he's still down on health, but I have nothing in my hand, which I don't like. He still has 2 cards in his hand, and he's got a pretty good amount of lands. Also, the only thing I have out is a 1/1 creature. If he gets a big creature out, which, yeah, he just did, and he gained 7 life off of it. 7/7 gains 7 life, and he gets to draw a card when it dies, and it has trample. Now I'm in trouble. Oh, Draining Welk. Okay. We're actually going to wait on that, being that it is a flash card. We're not going to attack because that would be silly. And we're going to hope he throws something out this turn. Let's go ahead and continue on here. And whatever he throws out, I'm going to throw... There we are. Yeah, we're going to counter that because that is actually an enchantment that gives him Annihilator plus 10/10. Very, very dangerous. And now we're back in the game because we have a 9/9 flying. Thanks to the use of Draining Welk, which it's one of the few times I've actually got to use that card in that manner and actually have it be really, really effective. Now, what else did we pull? Halcyon Gaze. Okay, so it's an enchantment, but every time we throw out a creature, we'll get a 4/4 for that turn out of Halcyon Gaze. Now, I'm going to go ahead and attack with my flying creature and see if we can't knock him down to size, because he doesn't have anything out there with reach, and he doesn't have anything out there with flying. So now we've knocked him down to 9 health. He can still trample through with that 7/7, but we're still at 20 health. So that was Colney Heart Expedition, I believe, which is a good card, but I don't know how well it's going to serve him at this point. So he's going to attack with the 7/7. That's perfectly fine. I will block it with the 1/1, and I will eat the damage. No, don't return it to my hand. I don't have anything in my hand to put out in its place. But we're still going to eat 6 damage. That's not too terribly bad, because we're still up in this. And unless... No, he has no cards in his hand. He has no way to block. Yeah, this is game right here, folks. So let's see. We had, wow, only about an 11-minute episode. That's a little crazy for a Magic game. I expected it to take substantially longer than that. But I think that'll do it for our first episode of Multiplayer Mondays. Little Magic the Gathering. Got a good win. Pretty good match. He had me worried there for a little bit when he pulled all his dust, because I was worried that he had some really strong stuff in his hand. But I was able to just continue getting the card draw I needed to be able to put him down and mitigate whatever he was going to try and do. Thankfully, Draining Welk saved me there, and if it weren't for that card, well, we would have been out of luck. But that's going to be it for this episode. I have been your host, Jeffrey Lazarus. Thank you for watching, and tune in next week when we'll do Multiplayer Mondays in another game. I haven't quite decided what yet, but we'll see what kind of fun we can have.